Welcome to the 2025 TORC Athlete Briefing for the Adventure Triathlon. My name is Alina Crow. I'm your race director. Let's begin. First, we'll start with packet pickup. Packet pickup is held Friday, September 5th from 4:30 to 8 p.m. at Riversport, the race venue. This year, there is no race day packet pickup unless you have approval in advance from me, the race director. This year, we will have a expo during packet pickup. So we have a couple of our sponsors and vendors that will be on hand. So we're hoping that'll be a positive experience for everyone. So we're excited to see everyone there. What's in the bag at packet pickup? You will receive your bib stickers, your bike stickers, your run bib, safety pins if you need them, a t-shirt if you registered before August 15th. And then you'll also pick up your timing chip from Oklahoma Race Company, our partner for timing. They'll have a table right next to ours. You'll also be able to visit with our new athlete liaison, who should be at our table. And then if you're a first-time triathlete, we have a newbie bracelet, if you will, that we would love for you to have and wear. Those basically serve to identify new athletes so that our board and volunteers can provide you extra support and encouragement on the course. Parking. Riversport has plenty of parking. This map shows you the 4 lots that are available to us. They are ordered in the priority that we would prefer that people park in on race morning. Let's get ready to race. So after you pick up your packet on Friday, these are some of the things that we encourage you to do to ensure that you have a smooth race morning. The first thing is we encourage you to attach your numbers and stickers, and we'll talk about that in just a second. And then a lot of us will lay out our gear as a final check and run through to make sure that we have everything for race morning and pack that in a backpack or a small bag. If you look online or Google like triathlon checklist, things like that, you'll find what you need. I would encourage you to make sure that you look at Sprint checklist, because if you don't, you might be coming up with an Ironman checklist, and that's probably more than you need. Make sure that you do a final check on your bike. Make sure that you've got enough air in your tires, your chain's running well, your brakes are functional, things like that. You want to make sure that you take care of your body as well. Make sure you hydrate extra in the days leading up to the event, and then also make sure that you're fueling smart. Generally, a good rule of thumb is to try to avoid eating at new and or foreign places or any kind of greasy or spicy food leading up to the race. You want to avoid unnecessary GI distress. If this is your first race or any race, you'll be a little nervous to begin with. So we want to try to avoid that if we can. It's your responsibility to know the course, so make sure you review things and the schedule so that it's as smooth and as stress-free as possible, and then also, if possible, get a good night's sleep. So sticker placement. You'll have 2 sets of stickers. The first one is just a sticker that goes on the front of your helmet that has your athlete number on it. And the other is a kind of a foldable sticker that goes on either the top tube of your bike, which is the tube that goes horizontal to the ground that just folds in half so we can see your number from both sides, or that sticker can go on your seat post, which is basically the pole that your seat sits on. Either one of those places is fine. It just depends on your bike where you want to put it. So race morning, you have made it. What does that look like? First of all, let me just reassure you that athlete safety is TRI-OKC's #1 priority. We have already begun monitoring the weather forecast and will keep an eye on that. And the race will occur rain or shine. When and if something changes regarding a delayed start or if we need to cut the swim, those changes will be communicated through email or social media. So if you're not following us on social media, either Facebook or Instagram, I would encourage you to do so. And then we do have the ability, what's great about triathlon is we can always modify the race format based on any kind of weather challenges that we're facing. So if we've got a lot of wind, we can always reduce the bike or cut the bike, or if we've got issues preventing us from completing the swim, we can always do that and still carry on as much of the race as possible. Here's our race day schedule. Transition will open for our TRI-OKC members at 6:15 a.m. It's not too late to join if you're not one. And then general admission for everyone else will open 15 minutes later at 6:30. Transition closes at 7:10 a.m. and then we have an athlete meeting at 7:15. Race start for our adventure tries will be at 7:45 a.m. Setting up transition, what does that look like for you guys? So before you get ready to go into transition, you want to make sure you have a couple things done or out with you. Make sure your timing chip is on, and most of us will say that the right ankle to put it on is actually your left ankle. Either is technically fine as long as you have it on, but the preferred side is your left because it's the opposite of your crank on your bike. Make sure your helmet is out and available. You won't be allowed to enter transition unless we can confirm that you have one. Make sure your stickers are on and applied. TRI-OKC uses what's called open racking for our transition, meaning there's no assigned spot, which is why it's a perk for TRI-OKC members to have access 15 minutes early because they can kind of claim a spot that is advantageous for them. We will have volunteers in transition to help you get set up if you're a new athlete or you're not sure how to do things. They're very helpful and can kind of make sure that you get everything set up. Transition is an athlete-only area. This is for everyone's safety. Here's some photos of some transition setups. You guys will not have goggles or swim caps, so you just ignore those. And then this middle picture is an example of a bike that has been racked by its seat post. You can also rack your bike by your handlebars. Most people think it's faster to do the seat post to take it on and off. But if we have a really windy day, a lot of times people will rack by their handlebars, or if it's super windy, I will mandate that we rack everything by handlebars because the bikes move around less that way. But there's on that bike, you can see their sticker is on the top tube. So that's what that looks like there. Kayak and paddleboard course. What does that look like for you guys? So this is a 500 meter single lap course. You guys will stage by the storage building. I've got a map here in just a second. And you will go out after the sprint and basically all of our swimmers have gone out. So be cautious on your entry and exit. It's a stair exit and a ramp entry, and they can be slick, so please no running on either side of the swim part. So here's a map where you can see that green kind of little highlighted area is where the swimmers are going to line up, and then there's a timing mat where that black line is. That it's kind of slanted, yay for 3D maps, but that white building right there is the storage building where the kayaks and the paddle boards are stored. And so we'll just have you guys kind of stage over there and we'll get the equipment out for you while our swimmers are entering the water. Since the kayaks and the paddle boards are much faster than most swimmers, you'll go after them. So here's a copy map of the swim course, which is also the same course you will do. You'll see the swim start down there at the bottom center. You'll go out towards the end of the pool, and we'll have buoys in the water. Those are the red circles. And then you'll turn around and then paddle back to where you came. And then go under the bridge, and there's stairs towards the exit where it says swim exit. The kayaks and paddle boards and the life jacket are all provided by Riversport, and that is included with your registration. The other thing you'll need to make sure you have with you is your timing chip, which you picked up on Friday. And then generally, we always recommend you wear sunscreen. So transition 1, when you're leaving the water, you're going to go ahead and leave your paddleboard, kayak, and life jacket at the swim exit. We will have a volunteer there who can help you. And then you're going to enter transition from the east side. There's a map on the next slide that shows kind of your path with a yellow arrow from the swim exit to the entrance to transition. There's a sidewalk that we stay on because there is a curb if we take the most direct path, and that is a potential hazard. We don't want athletes running off curbs and hurting ankles or rolling ankles. So please follow the volunteers' directions and the course markings, and generally we'll also have tape on the ground. So follow that around into transition. And then you will bike out from the opposite side you enter on the west side. When getting ready for the bike, it's important that before you even touch your bike, you put on and clip your helmet. Again, we'll have volunteers in transition keeping an eye on that for you to help remind you. not a big deal. There's a lot to remember with this, so that's why we're here to help. And then on the outside of transition, on the bike course, there is a red line on the ground, usually tape. It's called the mount line. As you exit transition, you cannot mount your bike to ride it until you're past that line. That is so we don't have people flying around in transition riding their bikes at ridiculous amounts of speed and hurting people. So you won't be able to get on your bike until you're past that line. Again, we'll have some volunteers there to remind you about that. So here's a map that shows you the yellow swim exit. And again, those curbs I showed you about, I mentioned, sorry, you'll follow that path around on the sidewalk to enter transition. That cup there, just to the right of transition, shows you we have an aid station there with water and Gatorade, which will be available in the morning before the race starts. So if you have water bottles or things like that you want to use, you can fill those up. And then there on the left, that's the bike out direction. So you'll run in for the swim on the right and then bike out on the left. That red cross there does show you where the medical tent will be, should you need that. And then the little people in blue show you where the porta potties will be. And then River Sport has bathrooms located inside the facility. And then this picture shows someone walking out of transition instead of mounting their bike and early before the line. And then this picture also shows that sticker is under his seat on the seat post. So that's the other location for the bike sticker. So the bike course. The bike course is just over 14 miles. It's 3 laps and it is an open course. So it is your responsibility as the athlete to know the route. We do have signage along the course. Generally, they will be white signs with blue arrows. And we do have Oklahoma City police along the course at all major intersections to do their best to keep you safe. But again, it's your responsibility to monitor traffic. And, if it's bike versus car, obviously the car is going to win. So if you need to stop, then stop. Slower athletes, keep on your right. This is the Adventure Tri. So you guys are not competing, you're completing. So with a lapped course like this, you will get passed by faster athletes. So stay on your right. And then it's common for cyclists to yell on your left when they're passing. They're not being rude. That's just cycling etiquette. So while you are allowed to ride with your friends and family together, just be careful not to take up the entire road because that could be dangerous for everyone. We do have support on the bike course provided by Wheeler Dealer, a local bike shop that's amazing. So you may see them driving along the bike course with their hazards on. If you do have a mechanical issue and you need help, just raise your hand when that vehicle comes by and they'll know to stop and help you. There are no aid stations on the bike course. It is short. It's 13, it's 14 miles and some change. So it's not very long. We don't have an aid station on there. So prepare as such. Here's a map of the bike course. It shows the single lap, which you will do 3 times before returning to transition. What gear do you need for the bike? You want to make sure that your bike is in safe working order, specifically your brakes, tires, and then obviously the bike can steer. One thing to make sure that you have capped handlebars. We do have bar plugs on site, or we will race morning, so that if for some reason you forget or your bike doesn't have that, we can take care of that so you can race. It is required that you have a helmet. Please make sure you have it with your sticker on. And then no headphones or audio devices are allowed on course. It's a USAT requirement for safety. You can have your phone with you, but it needs to not be out unless it's an emergency. So no selfieing or live streaming on the course, please. Hopefully we'll have a sunny race day, so recommend some sunglasses. And then if you need hydration on the bike course, please have it either in a bottle cage, or you'll see some people that wear the hydration backpacks. Either is fine as long as it's safe and secured. And then we want that timing chip. So as you enter T2 after you finish the bike, you'll re-enter transition from the same side that you left on, which is the west side. And then in the opposite fashion that you mounted the bike, you must dismount the bike before you hit the mount line. And then opposite, just same thing with the helmet. Do not take your helmet off until you have racked your bike. You're going to put your bike back in the same place you took it from. and then you'll put on your run gear and your bib, and then you'll exit on the other side, which is the west side of transition, and head out on the run. There is that aid station outside of transition, and there are restrooms available if you need them before you head out on the run. So here's that map again, showing the bike in and then the run out. So it's 2 right turns out of transition onto the run course. The run course, it is a 5K. It's a single lap. It's out and back. Again, it is your responsibility to know the route. This course, this portion of the course does have 2 aid stations, and then USAT rules. Actually, your Adventure Tri rules don't apply to you, but really for the run, there's not many rules for the run. Basically, you just have to keep your clothes on when it comes to the run, and don't accept help from outside people. But same story here. It is a pretty wide path, but let's not clog it up because you will have people coming out and back. And then we do want your race bib to be visible. So once you put it on, make sure it's in the front, not the back, please. And here's a copy of this route. You'll see the green arrow is your start from transition. And then you head out along the river trail. That little kind of house-looking guy with the plus in the middle, you see in 2 places. Those are the aid stations. And then the flag down at the bottom left is your turnaround. You will come back through transition and then kind of follow back around to the top of River Sport. I've got a zoomed in map here in a second to show you that finish so you're not unfamiliar with it. Run gear, you need running shoes, your bib, again, no headphones or audio devices, hydration if you need it, those sunglasses, and a lot of people will wear hats on the run, but certainly it is not required. And then lastly, you'll just keep that timing chip on at all times. If you are part of the relay, we will have a relay exchange point just outside transition, and you do have a separate rack in transition available for you. We'll have that marked with red tape. And then the finish line post-race. As you come back in, here's this map again. So you'll run back into transition, and then you'll keep going past it and then turn right and come back around River Sport. And those little guys right there in, I guess you'd call that orange, are where we will have volunteers to ensure you don't get lost. So you'll turn right and then right again and go back behind River Sport and then finish right in front of it, kind of in the River Sport property, so that all your friends and family can see you in all of your glory. So as you finish, enjoy your moment. You did it. We will have water, Gatorade, and a snack there, and collect your finisher's medal. That photo has all 4 of the years of River Sports medals. This year's are the ones on the far right, the ginormous ones. We're very excited about those medals. And then the week after the race, you will receive a post-race survey. Very short, just asking a couple questions about the quality of the race and what you thought. We do take those very seriously, so we would really appreciate it if you would fill that out. And then from the pool of people that filled it out, we do a drawing for next year's race. So if you enjoy the race and want to do it again, that's an easy way to get a free entry. And then if you have questions about anything at all, anything we've covered in this briefing or anything else, do not hesitate to reach out. TRI-OKC is here for you. We want this race to be a pleasant and an enjoyable experience. So here are 2 email addresses for you. The first one is the club's email address. It's just triathlonclub@gmail.com. And then the second one is my personal email address. It's just alina.croy@gmail.com. So please feel free to reach out. We are here for you. And then lastly, thank you to our sponsors. It takes a lot to make this happen. Huge shout out to River Sport. This is an amazing venue, an amazing course. We are the only multi-sport event in Oklahoma City, so we're very excited and proud to be able to put this on, and that does not happen without these sponsors, but very specifically River Sport. So we can't wait to see you guys, and we hope you have a wonderful race. Thank you.